Every day, I told myself I was about to escape my emotionally abusive marriage. But to be honest, I really just thought I was stuck. With no money and nowhere to go, I lived life in future tense. I'd say I'm going, but I never did. I dream about leaving, flip through glossy pages of places I'd escape to, and binge watch YouTube videos of strangers daring to do the thing I wouldn't. My courage gathered dust, while my excuses grew more and more. But one day that all changed, after witnessing something I shouldn't have in a medical waiting room. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Mokoteki Speaks. For those of you who are new here, Mokoteki means purpose or intention. On this channel, it's all about living with purpose and intention. One day, I went to my scheduled routine medical checkup as usual. Sat in the waiting room, as usual, while I waited for my name to be called and for the doctor to see me. I had arrived early, as I usually do, and watched as the waiting room slowly filled up with all kinds of people: young, old, men, women, and children. I became fascinated with an elderly woman who came in with her caregiver, who I later found out was her husband. She kept calling him Mister, so I assumed he was a professional caregiver. I noticed she became very agitated whenever he sat next to her, and she pulled away whenever he tried to talk to her. My interest in her peaked when I heard him whisper harshly, "Don't start your shit, Doris." At that moment, something rose up in me, and I wanted to defend her against the abusive caregiver. God only knows what she was experiencing in her home. Where was her family? Did she have children? A husband? All these thoughts swam in my head, and I spoke up. "Hey, you can't speak to her like that. What kind of caregiver are you? I have a good mind to report you." He turned around, surprised. I felt smug and satisfied that I called him out on his shit in front of everyone. "Yes, I'm talking to you," I said. Suddenly he laughed, and I recognized his sneer. It's the same sneering disdain my husband would give me when he thought he had the upper hand in an argument, or when he was gaslighting me. "Mind your own business," the man said. "This is my wife." I looked down at the poor woman who at that point was cowering under his raised voice, and I realized it wasn't the first time she was experiencing his abrasive behavior. "You think it's easy dealing with dementia all day?" he snapped at me. Well, in that moment, Doris seemed to have a brief flash of clarity, a lucid moment, because she said, "Clive, you are always shouting and arguing. I'm leaving you." He gave her an annoyed glance and remarked, "Oh, really? Then go ahead and leave, just like you've always claimed you would." I went back to my seat and sank in it, feeling disheartened. How sad. Doris is an emotionally abused woman suffering from dementia and was stuck with her abuser for the rest of her life. And while her mind might not recall the abuse, her heart seemed to instinctively distrust him. How heartbreaking. Just then, the nurse called her name. It brought tears to my eyes as I watched her shuffle behind Clive as she followed him into the doctor's office. I couldn't get her out of my mind. She wanted to leave but never had the chance. Or maybe never took the chance. That day, the hesitative, paused version of me snapped. I thought, "See, this is what happens when you hesitate. Stop daydreaming about leaving and leave already." I didn't want to find myself living on Regret Street someday, wishing I had taken action, but feeling too afraid to pursue my own path. The scariest moment is just before you start. This is a profound quotation from Stephen King, and I agree with this sentiment. Here's why. Imagine you never take that initial step to start something you've always wanted to do because of fear. Then you face a very frightening reality. Do you know what that is? It's the reality that you'll never know, and you'll forever wonder what would have happened if you did. You missed out on something important, or on life happening around you, because fear had you too scared to step out, too scared to grab life by the horns, too scared to truly live. The other day, I was listening to the Mel Robbins podcast and her interview with Shonda Rhimes. I was very surprised when Shonda Rhimes shared that she once lived in fear, rarely leaving her home unless it was absolutely necessary. She didn't go to events and usually say no to social invitations. For many years, she was like this, until one day she decided enough was enough, and she was going to commit to a year to saying yes. In her updated book, A Year to Yes, she chronicled how empowering it was to embrace new opportunities and take control of her life. Each yes became a stepping stone, leading her out of her comfort zone and into a world brimming with possibilities. She stated she became a new person, with new experiences in which each decision to embrace the unknown opened doors she never imagined. From attending social events she would have once avoided, to traveling to new places and meeting inspiring people, every yes became a testament to her growth and courage. And you may think, this couldn't be the same accomplished Shonda Rhimes that wrote Great Anatomy and the Bridgerton series. While she lived out her life through the lives of her characters on screen, real life was passing her by. But the best part about Shonda Rhimes' story is that she decided on the change. She took her power back. How many of us are capable of so much more, but we sell ourselves short, or we underestimate our capabilities? How would I know if I had it in me to make it on my own, if I'm too scared to take the first step? I don't want that for you. I want you to keep in mind the sad story of Doris and Clive, and then the inspiring one of Shonda Rhimes, and decide to take steps to get closer to what you want. Every inspired action starts with a thought, and each thought has the power to motivate us. The tricky part is that many people, like Doris, get stuck in their thoughts, so it's important to use that energy to shape your reality. These ideas are called the law of inspired action and the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. They're part of the 12 universal laws that guide everything, including how we turn dreams into reality. The law of inspired action encourages you to make moves toward your goals, no matter how small they seem. It's about trusting your gut and acting on those feelings, even when it's a bit scary or uncertain, like Shonda Rhimes did. When you start taking inspired actions, you kick off a series of events that bring you closer to your goals. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy tells us that energy is always on the move and changing. The energy we put into our thoughts and actions can change our lives. By focusing on positive thoughts and taking inspired actions, we can change our circumstances and build the life we want. But it's all about taking action. Remember, starting small is key. Start with one small step today. Ask yourself honestly, what do I want? Energy follows action. Say yes to opportunities, and you'll find that the door opens when you start walking. Whether it's starting the conversation toward resolution or something quite different, like packing a bag, let your intuition and these laws guide you to make that first move. And always keep in mind, if you believe in a higher power, this divine will that sets the laws into motion also looks out for you and wants the best for you. If this message found you today, it was meant to. Thanks for tuning in to Mokateki Speaks. Don't forget to like, share, or send this to someone who might need a little light. I'll see you in the next video in this series, Between the Journey and the Lesson. Thanks for subscribing.